have connective tissue. With connective tissue, we have 3 cell types that we're going to look at. We have mast cells. Mast cells do 2 things. One, they secrete heparin, keeping blood from clotting, and they secrete histamine. Histamine is what gives you an allergic reaction. When you take Benadryl, you're taking an antihistamine. An antihistamine stops the secretions from a mast cell. A fibroblast is a cell that makes fibers, and a macrophage is a white blood cell that roams the body. There are 3 fiber types found within connective tissue. The fiber types are generally in your matrix of the connective tissue. You have elastic. Elastic is stretchy and yellow in color. You'll find a lot of elastic fibers in your vocal cords. You have reticular. Reticular looks kind of like a spider web making a fine mesh network. And collagenous don't stretch very well, mostly found in your tendons, and they are white in color. We're going to go through the different types of connective tissue. The first type is loose connective, also known as areolar. I'm going to refer to it as loose connective. When you look at loose connective, you can see the fibers are loosely connected. This is found between the skin and the muscle layer below. Adipose. Adipose is fat. When you look at the cell, most of the cell is towards the outside. That kind of clear in the middle is fat deposit. And then you have dense. Dense connective tissue, when you look at it, is densely packed together. All of the little dark lines are the nuclei of the cell. Dense connective tissue is mostly made up of matrix. This is found in your tendons and ligaments. We have cartilage. There are 3 main types of cartilage. Cartilage is used for protection or framework. As your body is developing in the fetal stage, most of your bones are going to be in the cartilage state. We have elastic cartilage. Elastic cartilage is the cartilage in your ear. It's a little bit flexible. And this is what elastic cartilage looks like. It kind of has all those holes, allowing it to flex a little bit. We have fibrocartilage. This is the shock-absorbing cartilage within your knees and then between your vertebrae, the discs in your vertebrae. And this is what it looks like, very similar to that of dense connective tissue. And the last type of cartilage is hyaline. This is the most common type of cartilage in the body. It is glassy white. Your bones start off as hyaline cartilage, and if you look at the end of a bone, like if you're eating chicken wings, break it open and look at the end of the bone, it's a glassy white color. It's also the rings in your trachea, so when you feel here, those rings are hyaline cartilage. Here is the picture. To me, this looks like ghost eyes, so I remember that hyaline cartilage looks like ghost eyes. We have bone. Bone is very rigid, and it provides us with structure and protection. When we look at a picture of bone, it kind of looks like the rungs of a tree. So one way to remember it is, bones help you stand tall, just like the tree trunk helps it stand tall. And the last type is blood. Blood is used for transport. For parts of blood, you have 2 cell types, red blood cells and white blood cells. You have platelets, which are pieces of cells which are used for blood clotting, and then the matrix, which is the plasma, the non-living portion. Here's a picture. These cells stained red are going to be your red blood cells, and the ones that are stained purple are going to be your white blood cells. And these small little fragments here are going to be your platelets. Then we have muscle tissue. Muscle tissue is a contracting tissue, and it contracts in a couple different ways depending on the type of muscle we have. Skeletal muscle is attached to the skeleton. It's voluntary, and it has a very powerful contraction, kind of a back and forth. The muscle fibers are set up nice and neat in the cell, so it provides these striations. Striations are stripes on the cell, And it is completely voluntary, meaning that you have to think about it in order to contract that muscle. So here is a picture. You can see those striations or those lines within the cell. Muscle tissue is also multinucleated, so each cell has many nuclei. Then you have smooth. Smooth is found in hollow organs such as your uterus, your stomach, your intestines. It is involuntary, meaning you don't have to think about it. There's a center in your brain to take care of the contraction of this muscle. It is not striated, so those proteins are not in nice, neat lines. They are scattered throughout the cell, and so it kind of gives it a wave-like motion. It's called peristalsis. Here is smooth muscle. And then the last type of muscle is cardiac. Cardiac is only found in the heart. The thing that's special about cardiac is that it is self-stimulating, so it does not need a nerve impulse in order to contract. It actually has its own electrical system, allowing it to contract on its own. It is involuntary, so you don't need to think about it. There's a center in the brain to take care of it. But it is also striated, much like skeletal muscle. One difference that you can see between cardiac and skeletal is these small dark lines. The small dark lines are called intercalated discs, and those are the junction that are found between cardiac muscle cells. The last type of tissue is nervous tissue. A neuron is a nerve cell. It has a nice cell body in the middle and then extensions extending out. One extension is going to be sending the message along. The other extensions are going to be picking up messages. Also within nervous tissue are neuroglial cells. Neuroglial cells are support cells for that.